To this day, I mean, I think it was literally like the worst night of our fucking lives. Drugs are fun, but those were not. It was 2004. I was 22 years old. I was in New York, and I was horny. You know, that's what you are when you're in New York. So unlike now, where you go on Grindr and it's like, you know, radar for dick. It's like boop, 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 and you find everyone within a 5-mile radius of you. But back then, it was gay.com. Does anybody remember gay.com? Okay, wow, this is a really young audience. So you go to gay.com, and gay.com was like a chat room, if anybody remembers what a chat room is. You would go on, and you would see if anybody was on, and if anybody wasn't on, you would go through profiles, and you would send them messages. And you would hope that the people that you send messages responded back. And it was a process, and it was a lot of work. And it's not like today with smartphones. So with smartphones right now, it's like stroke, snap, send, right? It wasn't like that before. It was like stroke, digital camera, get it right, or webcam. Do you guys remember the webcam, the little round webcams? You guys would like sit on your desk and it was all grainy, which sometimes it's good that it's grainy. But it was work. But then one day, I get a message from a Dewey, med student, you know, a doctor. He lives in California and he's a doctor. He's cute, and he's into water sports. Water sports. I thought to myself, well, you know what? You know, it's not my thing, but hey, a kinky, like, doctor in training, I could be into that. So I responded to him, and we chatted a little bit, and I found out that he was at home in California for the summer, lining boys up for when he got to New York. And I just happened to be one of those boys in a line. And so we exchanged numbers, and I didn't think anything of it. Weeks and weeks and weeks, probably months went by, and I never heard from this Dewey again. So one day, I get a text from Dewey, and I open up my flip phone, because again, this is 2004, and he's like, hey, I'm in New York, I'm here for a week, you know, I start med school in a week. And I'm like, all right, you know, hey, let's meet up. So, we like plan our first fancy New York City date. It was just him coming over to my apartment to talk. So at like 7:30, finally the doorman rings, because I was fancy like that. I was living in a 300 square foot apartment with a doorman. On an air mattress. It was great. I don't know how he's still here, honestly. And so the doorman calls, and he's like, you have a visitor. And Dewey gets up there, and I find out it was cute. It was one of the first things that was very enduring about him. Enduring. Is that he had forgot his cell phone, and his sweet little innocent mind, he was so embarrassed, he was so embarrassed to go to the doorman and be like, hi, I'm here to see apartment 7F. Because in his mind, when he went to say, hi, I'm here to see apartment 7F, the doorman translated that to, you're here to fuck. And he was just too embarrassed to allow the doorman to know that he was here to fuck. So it took him 20, 30 minutes of sitting outside on the planters in downtown New York to finally work up the balls to come up to see me. I mean, it's a pretty good decision. So he comes up, you know, I'm 22, he's 25, 26, he's way older than me. And, you know, we fuck, it was great. I was like, all right, you know, this is pretty nice. For me, it was one and done. I was not looking for a relationship. I had just moved from Denver a year ago. I had a long-term relationship there, and I was just in New York to have fun. 22-year-old in New York, gonna have fun. So, little history on me. I grew up in the middle of Missouri. Wow. This is the luckiest fucking crowd I've ever had in my life. So I was raised that, being gay, wrong. If you were gay, you were damned to just go from relationship to relationship, because God would never bless you with a real relationship. Like marriage, not an option. Being with somebody your whole life, not an option. As Joe Biden said at the HRC town hall, a lot of people just think gays are out there, having sex in the San Francisco bathhouses. And that's what I was programmed to think. And so I never in imagined years thought that the person I was meeting that night could possibly be the person that I was going to spend my life with. So, again, fast forward 8 years. And at that point, Dewey had finished med school, got a doctor. Yeah, investment opportunity. And every year, we used to go down to our friend Nina's parents' house in Cabo. Anyone ever been to Cabo? All right, Cabo. Woo, woo. So this year, I get a text from Nina, and it says, there's going to be a white party this year. And you need to wear like an all linen white pants and white long shirt. She's like, think P. Diddy, 1998 yacht. And I'm like, all right, this was 2012. I was like, yeah. So Dewey and we went to Club Monaco because, again, it was May, and where else does one get linen attire in May but at Club Monaco? So we go to Club Monaco, and I find like some cute little white linen shorts and a cute little white linen tank top, and Dewey's like, no. And I'm like, why? Dewey had never had a fashion opinion. When we met, he literally wore like a pair of 38 cargo shorts. And I mean, at the time, if he was a 28, that's excessive. Big old cargo shorts and oversized sweaters, which then years later he would they expanded in the drawer. That's why I wore them so large. That's not a real thing, doctor. That was just a bad fashion choice. So he's like, no, you can't wear that. And so we get in this big fight in Club Monaco in Soho on Broadway. If any of you guys know New York, you know that Club Monaco in Soho on Broadway. And we end up getting in such a big argument in Club Monaco, don't you know, there. Oh God, backstage they got me going this northern accent. And I just thought, my God, maybe I'm gonna do this all night, You betcha. All right, maybe not. We got in this big fight. And we ended up just both leaving Club Monaco. And I went to my store and he just left. And so little did I know, he ended up buying us what he wanted to buy us. And so the next day, we go to Cabo and we get there. And the moment we get there, within 5 minutes of us landing and getting to Nina's house, she says, guys, my mom has decided to rent this house out for the summer. So we have a realtor coming, and she needs to take pictures and see the house, so you guys need to leave. Which was very odd to me, because I'm like, well, we can move. We don't have to be in the pictures. We can move around. But she's like, no, you have to leave. I'm like, this realtor is intense. And so, all right, we go to Mega. Does anybody... It's like a Walmart supercenter, but it's massive, it's huge, it has the freshest of tortillas and the best of cheese, but it's called Mega. And it's huge. And so we get there, and again, I'm not upset about this. I love going to Mega. It's always our first stop when we get there. We drive into Cabo, and we go to Mega. And we get all of our food for the week, and it's great. But this trip was a little odd because this trip, this little man walked down every single aisle in Mega like this slow, looking at everything like this fucking slow. And I'm a fucking Virgo. I am not your gay best friend. I am not your shopping dream. When I go shopping, I have a mission. I go in there and I finish that mission and I get out. I will not do your hair. I will not help you pick out outfits. We need queso. We need beer. And that's it. And so this trip, he walked down every single aisle in Mega. And again, it's called Mega. It's huge. So we go through Mega and we finally check out after going through 99,487 aisles and getting like one thing of queso. And then we go to leave and he's like, we should wash the car. And the car is this like 1984 Tahoe that has been at our friend Nina's house probably since 1984. It's never been washed. Every year we drive this old beater car and it's fine. We've never washed it. But Dewey was adamant that we wash this fucking car. We get the car washed and we go home. And, we decide, all right, we're going to make dinner. And I'm still like, honestly, I'm still fucking annoyed from Mega and the car wash and just everything about why he made my day go so slow. So slow. And I decide that I'm going to go into the freezer and I'm going to get this big old bag of weed that's in the freezer. Every year, there's always been this big old bag of weed. It's never really gotten larger or smaller. It's just been in our friend Nina's freezer for years. The year before, Dewey had found it. And he decided he was going to make us some pot brownies. So he made us some pot brownies. He did his little thing. He's a doctor, he's very smart. And no one got high. Nothing happened. We all went to sleep. That was the end of it. So I decided the pot must be really old. It must be old. So I take this whole big old bag, and there was like this big of a wad of weed in this bag. It was huge. And I take it and I put it in a big old pan of oil and I boil it in the oil and I grind it and I turn it into this beautiful paste and I put it in this beautiful chocolate mix of brownies and I make the most beautiful pot brownies you'd ever seen, and I'm very, very proud of myself. But again, I still think the weed is old. So I cut a piece of brownie like this wide by this wide by this thick for everyone. That's smart, right? I hand them out, and I, being the Virgo that I am, force everyone to eat every single fucking piece of their brownie. You will not get up until you eat your food. You want dessert? Eat your brownie. And so they did. And so, we're having fun. And then all of a sudden, the gravity. Guys, what happened to the gravity? It's so strong, guys. So for like 2 hours, guys, the gravity was so fucking strong, I couldn't get up. And I hear Dewey in the background running around the house, pitter patter, 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 pitter patter.
Bunnies, guys, there's bunnies in the trees. Hey guys, hey. There's bunnies in the trees. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. Yeah, it's litter and we're high as fuck, but it's good.
So I would hear him running through the house, pitter patter, bleh, pitter, patter, bleh. And then our friend Nina, she's running behind him because later I found out she's like, well, he's a doctor. So I was like, if he's throwing up, I need to throw up because he knows what to do. And, you know. And so he'd be like, and then I'd see Nina. And so finally, I find Dewey. I put all the bunnies back in their cages. And I get us back to the bed. And the bed, though, was like, I thought it was a king, but then I'd go in it and I'd fall out because it would turn into a twin. It was awful. It was literally, to this day, I mean, I think it was literally like the worst night of our fucking lives. So the next morning, I wake up, I'm still high. I don't even know if I slept. I kind of blacked out. And we had talked the day before about going sailing on the Sea of Cortez. Did y'all know Cortez? Yeah, I didn't either. So I was like, why the fuck are we going sailing on Cortez? But something told me, pull yourself together. How often do you get to go sailing on Cortez? So we get on this boat, and we go sailing, and we're miserable. But finally, the sail opens up, and on the sail is WYMM. And I'm staring at this, and I'm like, WYMM. And I turn around, and I'm like, dude, did we buy a boat? So when I turn around to ask him that, you guys are the best audience ever. He's on one knee, and he starts to read a beautiful little poem. And as he starts to read the poem, so I see that, and I'm like, and everyone on the boat starts. Have you guys seen Bridesmaids? So finally, we deal with that, and we go back and we reset because that's what we do. We're gays. Everything is a performance. And Dewey finishes his poem, and I realized that the abbreviations on the sail is abbreviations for "Will you marry me?" But I was too high to figure that out at first. Yeah. And I say I do. Thank you. I start planning the wedding already in my head. You know, where are we going to have it? Who are we going to invite? You know, God, this is going to be big. It's going to be big. And then I open up the door, and here's the wedding. The wedding has already been planned for me. The wedding is happening right now. So not only did he plan a surprise proposal, he planned the wedding too. At the moment, I was like, are you kidding me? You took this away from me? But looking back, thank you. And it was the most beautiful, perfect little wedding one could ever want. But the moral of this story is, let's take it back to a Queer Eye moral moment. You can dream, cute little gay boy in Missouri, you can dream about walking down the aisle with your cute little Vietnamese husband.